You're supposed to hate this show. I think it's talking about Velma.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, I saw the thumbnail. So I've heard nothing but really, really bad things about Velma. I have zero interest in watching any episode. Like, just straight up.
This. I have not heard a single good thing about it.
Oh, yeah.
Not even once.
This video is brought to you by Keeps. Stick around to hear more about the discount they're providing to the entire upper echelon community. Okay, there are some way more detailed videos in the works right now, big investigations, etc., etc. But for the moment, I want to talk about Velma. Yes, that's right, I said Velma, which is a dismal...
You know what's funny? They could have actually made this work. Because, like, with nerd culture, like, on the rise, like, a lot of these, like, IPs and stuff like that coming back, like, I really think they could have made it really work.
Criticism magnet produced by Mindy Kaling and funded by HBO that bastardizes every single thing you once loved about Scooby-Doo for a twisted adult cartoon. There's only 2 episodes so far, and the internet is already full of hot takes about how terrible the show is, but today I want to discuss why I'm, I guess, fairly confident that the entire purpose of this television program is to make people who see it angry and ride the wave of bad publicity to staggering overall viewership through hate watchers. No beating around the bush here, let's just dive in. Velma is a brand new HBO animated series based on the Scooby-Doo IP. Setting aside anyone's individual thoughts on that, whether or not they enjoyed it as a kid or ever even watched it in the first place, the reality is Scooby-Doo is a nostalgia-filled children's program from as far back as the 1970s. I myself watched it whenever I could, within reason, I guess, during my younger years.
So y'all think that, like, maybe it was just...
Even if people didn't watch it, they know what Scooby-Doo is.
A big fucking psyop to get everybody mad about it and then raise their awareness. I don't think that works.
No.
I'm going to be honest. Like, I think that's, like, such a...
It works in terms of just getting the awareness out of it, like, knowing about the product in a way, but it does not work in terms of people consuming the product. It's just how it is. Like, think of, like, any show that was just universally disliked. I would say, I'm trying to think. Ghostbusters, the female cast one, the new one. There was another one I'm thinking of, Witcher, and like the new Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. Like, things that are like, just people are like, yeah, it's really, really bad. Like, I have a feeling they're not doing well financially.
I think not only does that not work, but on top of that, imagine trying to sell that to an executive leadership board. Hey, we're going to make a show, and it's going to be fucking garbage. And it's going to be garbage on purpose because we want people to hate it.
I seriously doubt they would ever say that to, like, the people who are, like, okaying it. They're probably just like, yeah, we want to do this new IP and stuff like that with Scooby-Doo, and we're going to do Velma. Like, I seriously doubt they were like, we're going to make it so awful that everyone wants to talk about it.
I think these are the kinds of things that, like, for example, a lot of people watch, like, they'll watch, like, the first episode of, like, a really, really bad TV show just to see how bad it is. But they're not going to keep, like, they're not going to go to episode 7. You know what I mean? They're just going to watch episode 1 or 2, and then that's it.
Exactly.
But what we see now from HBO executive producer Mindy Kaling is a demented patchwork of bad jokes, insults, and poorly disguised vindictive themes meant to make every single person who watches the show angry and ride the already enormous wave of hate to colossal overall viewership. In my opinion, and keep in mind a lot of this is, of course, my opinion, this show is one of the first ever clear-cut examples where there actually isn't even a well-defined target audience, because that target audience is everyone, and the methods used to capture their interest have absolutely nothing to do with legitimate narrative appeal. For starters, though this particular angle has been covered extensively by other commentators, Velma appears to be a self-insert, as it's called. Mindy Kaling, an Indian-American comedian, actress, screenwriter, and producer...
Wasn't she in The Office?
I remember her as a comedian. I don't recall her stuff, but...
But I remember that one scene where, like, she's trying to play games with Daryl, And she's like, yeah, I don't know if I really want to go out with you anymore. He's like, all right, yo, I'll see you later. Peace. I gotta go. And she's like, wait, I was just trying to see what you were saying. And then he's like, yeah, I gotta go. That was it. That was my favorite fucking scene about her, man. Oh my God. She's done a ton of stuff. Yeah.
Producer is the executive producer and writer of the show itself.
Yeah, she was good.
Which coincidentally has decided to racially swap Velma, the main character, from white to Indian, with Kaling herself doing all of the voice acting.
Oh,
on the surface,
she's the
that's
character.
fine.
Okay.
I don't really care for the political discourse that rapidly devolves as soon as you mention racial character swapping. But for
I mean, again, Pedro Pascal, literally in The Last of Us.
Yeah, as long as you're making the character good. Like, I don't think most people care too much. I mean, obviously you're gonna have like the radical people, but it's, to be fair, they're gonna hate it no matter what.
Is he white? No, he's not white. Does anybody give a fuck? No, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
For this particular case, yeah, it is kind of relevant. The thing to understand here is that Velma has atrocious favorability ratings, though it is admittedly far from a perfect.
How the fuck the
7%.
audiences? How the fuck do you go from 55% to 7%? Like, don't you ever ask yourself, like, if you're catching L's with this, and you're constantly like rating things with like a 40% differential versus your audience, there's got to be something wrong.
Yeah.
Perfect barometer in this case. Rotten Tomatoes is currently sitting at just 7% audience.
I wonder if any of the critic ratings were above 6, like in the higher range, like 90s.
Wow.
Favorability, making it basically one of the worst rated shows in.
Like, I think it would have been interesting if he actually like went into it, and if there was to like look at it.
And you've got to think the half of that 7% probably just hit the other button on accident.
Probably.
Distance. However, approval has absolutely nothing to do with numerical success. It's not exactly an uncommon trend, but Velma is now joining a long list of predating programs such as Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones or Amy Schumer's.
Well, you just saw that. Like, it had a 99%.
Joining a long list of predating programs such as.
Look, 99%. So it's like literally the opposite.
Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones or Amy Schumer's.
This is fine if you want to do it here, but like 8%. And to be fair, I don't think she made much money off of it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, look at this.
Such as,
bro, like how the fuck?
But because it's like if she made a ton of money, like there would be more and more specials coming out.
How the fuck does Dave Chappelle get 35% critical reviews but 99% audience score? I can tell you how. It's because the people that rate these things are completely out of touch.
Yeah.
You don't make that bad of a differential if you just, if you are in touch with your audience. They're paid though. Yeah, critics being activists. There you go. And it's just so fucking annoying, man. Oh my God. People are complaining about the Pedro Pascal example. Here's another one. Nick Fury plays Samuel L. Jackson. Does anybody give a fuck? No, they don't. Because he's a good actor.
Exactly.
Nobody gives a fuck about a race swap if the character is good. Okay? That's the only thing that matters. If the character is good, nothing else matters. The actor is good. Yes, because he's a good actor. That's what matters. Everything else is bullshit.
Exactly. No
Dave
one really
Chappelle's
cares.
Sticks and Stones or Amy Schumer's Growing, which demonstrate a widening gap between critical acclaim and actual enjoyment of the audience. For Dave Chappelle, the actual audience loved the comedy show, while critics hated it. For Amy Schumer, critics loved the special, while the general audience despised her.
Yeah, of course. What a fucking surprise. Nobody likes her. Like, I haven't heard about her in like 2 years.
Yep.
And like also, I think there's another example that you can use for why I don't think this was I'll wait for his argument for it. But here's another example of why I don't think this was like intentional, the show to be bad. Is because remember the Ghostbusters with all the women in it?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't see another one of those, did you? No. Because nobody watched it. Everybody talked about it. Everybody talked about how bad it was, but nobody watched it.
But for Velma, it seems that while critics are still trying to pretend it's...
You're looking at it right there, Amy Schumer. Like, she's pretty much done.
It's a good program, at least some of them. The barriers are coming down, and reality has begun to set in, at least on a very basic level, that this is a terrible piece of writing that should not exist and deserves absolutely no respect. Alright, before going further, it's time for today's video sponsor, who is particularly well suited for existing channel demographics. Most of you watching this are men ages 18 to 45. It's actually always been that way since the very early days of the channel, and as a result, some sponsor products are better suited for channel integration than others. If I advertised makeup, for example, it would be a complete dead end. Makeup brands pay well, of course, but what's the point if no one watching even has a passive desire, need, or use for the product? Instead, I'm here advertising Keeps, which is a hair loss prevention treatment with more 5-star reviews than any current competitor. You can order and get treated directly from your own home for a fraction of the cost when compared to other products, and they offer generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss treatments on the entire market.
Is that right?
2 out of 3 men by age 35 will experience hair loss, making this basically an ideal sponsorship for the channel. If you click the link down below, you can get 50% off your first order. Again, that's a 50% discount on your first order if you click the link down below in the description today.
Wow.
Keeps can help prevent, in some cases, actually even reverse the process of hair loss. And yes, I do absolutely get paid for this. I try to mention that every single time. I am sponsored, but that sponsorship has been one of the longest running partnerships for Upper Echelon, allowing me to continue what I do, and it's very much appreciated. Again, link down below in the description for a massive discount. Big thank you to Keeps for sponsoring the channel. Alright, time for examples. Right off the bat, we have an Indian-American screenwriter, producer, and voice actor who turned Velma into an Indian-American character, which she was not before this, and now does the voice acting herself. Heck of a start. What's next? Racially swapping Shaggy, probably the most beloved character along...
I think this one's the most... This is... Like, as I said, I don't think that's that big of a deal. You just make him just funny. Like Shaggy, the rapper, It Wasn't Me, and just completely play into the meme. I feel like this is the only one that I don't really care about that much.
That would be
if
really
they
funny.
Actually did that.
Yeah.
Alongside Scooby-Doo himself, who isn't even in the show, who is now black, Shaggy is,
yeah.
and also a notable anti-marijuana presence in the program. Gone are the days of a close-knit detective group where the lovable stoner and his best friend dog contribute to wild hijinks and investigations. Instead, we get a totally warped show where the gang is in high school and pretty much everything about them is different and terrible. In the past, parents were likely aware of the insinuation that Shaggy was a part of, shall we say, stoner culture, or 420 culture, which let the kids, unaware of the hidden subtext here, watch and enjoy while the parents maybe got a laugh too, or picked up on hidden messages that didn't really apply to the kids, as the snacking and general comedic nature of that dynamic was allowed to play out on screen. No beating around the bush here, that's gone. It's not gone because it needed to be gone, it's gone because the writer, who also racially swapped the main character to her own race and then voice acted her, decided to make him black for quite literally no apparent reason. I'd like to say again that by itself, that doesn't matter. Racial characteristics of on-screen characters really shouldn't matter in an ideal world. But Velma is...
I think it does matter. Like, you change the race of a character, people have an idea of what the character's supposed to be, and then it's something different.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Unless you make it really good, people aren't going to like it. Like, it's the Samuel L. Jackson thing. It's like, and to be fair, it's like Nick Fury wasn't exactly like a really big character either. That'd be like if they made Thor black. Like, I think it's the popularity mixed in with like how well it's done is really going to determine if people are going to accept it or not in your show.
Of course it's going to matter, but people will forgive that if the adaptation is good enough.
Isn't just doing this to find the right actors for the role. It isn't.
Like I said, there's some characters though I don't think people are just going to be okay with. It's just how it is. I don't know. At least in my head. Like, I don't know if it's true, but
doing this to make an actual point or appeal to a separate demographic even. It's doing this to make people angry, which is working. There's only a couple of episodes out right now, but let me just frame this out for everyone. Velma is an insufferable know-it-all that despises the world, has crippling hallucinations that apparently cause heart attacks somehow, and judges everyone at precisely every single juncture. Fred, a mainstay of the Scooby-Doo universe, yeah, he is, not kidding here, even though I wish I was, a tiny dick loser who hasn't gone through puberty. His dad is ashamed of him, he can't function beyond the cognitive level of a toddler, and therefore becomes a burden on everyone around him nearly 100% of the time.
Jeez.
This isn't a creative choice for the betterment of the actual narrative. This is a creative choice to insult white people. Yes, I know some people will immediately start.
Sounds like it's like the only white person they didn't change. They like put on every negative you could put on.
Start throwing out buzzwords like white fragility, but the show is plastered with examples where white people are painted as, or flat out even called, serial killers, druggies, and insensitive trolls that merely subtract from Velma's brain power in obnoxious ways.
I could see where somebody would find that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the white guy equals bad. Yeah, nobody's going to like that. Big surprise.
Yeah, if you did it with any other race, too, it would still be bad.
It's like you can do something like that. You do whatever you want. But you can't make a certain race of people look bad and then be surprised whenever they don't like it.
Think about this. Fred, who is now the only white male character of any importance whatsoever, can't even cut his own food. What? Velma humiliates him constantly on the basis of race and class. But it doesn't stop.
I'm glad I didn't see this.
What? So she's a racist?
Yeah, but he's white, so it's not considered racism. Like, I hate that argument so much. Like, to think that, like, a social hierarchy can, like, change racism. Like, it's just ridiculous. I don't know. To me, it's so dumb because it's like, it's never like a crazy difference. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, back in Egypt when, like, you know, they had actual slaves and stuff like that, like a whole caste system. So,
what the fuck? Oh my god!
Stop there, because Velma is also a lesbian. Again, nothing wrong with that.
This is actually not a problem. Yeah, I'm fine with this.
Whatever.
Until you realize that she's 15, and the show is
Never
now
mind.
Okay.
very openly pushed.
I mean, I still wouldn't care too much as long as it's like her just like kind of discovering herself and like realizing that she may be a lesbian.
Sexual themes.
Okay,
Velma and Daphne have chemistry of sorts. Not really, but in a way where they are obviously in a specific trajectory leading to sex. And broader areas of the show also seem to be designed as a sort of narrative funnel into the idea of 15-year-olds being hyper-sexually active. One demographic will be angry about Fred. Whether or not they should is up to you as the viewer, but they're gonna be. Another will be angry about Velma and her hypersexual themes. Yet another will be angry about the racial swapping, but it doesn't stop there. Daphne's parents are a racially diverse lesbian couple who adopted her, by the way, and are also cops by profession. Yet another cultural speed bump in the works here. Who draw their guns, these lesbian cop parents, who draw their guns on an unarmed teen immediately in the first episode, as well as shoot an unarmed teenager, cartoon teenager, that teenager being Fred, 2 times in his own house without a warrant as he tries to pull out a pen. Not done yet.
Oh, that sounds realistic. Okay. All right, got it.
Based on real life, pretty much.
Because they also go undercover in the town's high school looking for drugs, as they paint marijuana as some sort of dangerous phenomenon.
Sanest Tumblr fanfic. Oh, fuck. That's about right, isn't it? Oh,
it's probably
what
where
is this?
Most of their ideas for this show.
It's like the creators had a checklist. Look, it's just some of these people, it's brain rot. What do you expect?
Phenomenon, thereby pissing off yet another demographic, where these cops then start whipping out and firing tasers. I should also mention at this point that Daphne herself is apparently Asian, making 3 out of the 4 main characters in the entire show racially swapped.
Okay.
I can't help but consider something here, and maybe I'm way off base, but a growing section of Hollywood, as well as the entertainment industry at large, seems to now believe that the worse you make a show's writing, as long as you are aware, quote-unquote, of it being bad, the better the show actually is, because of subverted expectations. However,
well, the subverted expectations is like...
it being bad.
I'm trying to think of like a good example of subverted expectations.
Maybe like you bite into food and it wasn't cooked right. Yeah, you subverted the expectation that this food was edible, but that's not a good thing.
That's not necessarily subverted expectations. Like, whenever the expectation is that the show is good, and then you subvert that expectation, and it turns out that it's actually bad, oh, well, I mean, that's like breaking the fourth wall.
However, Velma has gone so far beyond that flimsy initial premise, it is now just flat out offensive to pretty much everyone who watches it. Velma herself as a character is a disgustingly misanthropic person. She is self-centered. She is horrible.
I don't know. I think it's kind of weird to like have a like underage characters and then have them in like romantic scenes like this. I mean, it's a TV show. It's not a big deal, but it's like if this is one of the main focuses of the story, it's also, it depends on like how you do it. Like, I think there are many shows and movies that have had something like this with, like, you know, a kid that's growing up and it's like, you know, some awkward encounter and it's fine. But this seems weird.
From what I've been told, there's actual scenes that are, like,
bro, I watched
uncomfortable
that show.
when you realize how old they are.
Oh, my God.
What is he talking about?
It was the trashiest, worst show I've ever seen in my life. It was so bad. Why? Because it was on, like, I watched it with Izzy, and it was just fucking... It's like the whole show is about sex, and all the kids are 11.
Oh, I know what he's talking about.
Come on,
Big Mouths
man.
or something?
Come on, let's not do that.
That show sucks. Like,
let's not.
serious.
Let's not. Like, how about we don't do it? How about it just doesn't happen? 3 seasons, by the way. It's groomer. Yeah, it's so fucking weird.
Terry, example being when she just eats out of the garbage for no reason at all, and the immediate atmosphere of the show does manage to call her a misanthropic person. She is self-centered. She is horribly unsanitary. Example being when she just eats out of the garbage for no reason at all.
Wait, they have Velma eating out of the garbage?
Oh my God. I was just thinking, like, Asmon, like, isn't the most sanitary person, but, like, even he was just like, what the hell?
Why the fuck would she do that?
Yeah.
And the immediate atmosphere the show does manage to cultivate is intentional destruction of every established premise that Scooby-Doo fans initially loved.
Like, eat out of the garbage while you're showing them kissing. Like, damn, dude.
For those keeping track, let's go over the list so far. The show targets and alienates white people, a lot, specifically men, but also a wider group as well, through relentless and repeated racial insults. It certainly can't be for children, or even slightly traditional viewers, because it also pushes, within seconds, I might add, an uncomfortable amount of cartoon high school nudity, with a very clear push towards sexual awakening being a theme in the show. The main character, racially swapped by an executive producer of the same race, who then voice acts the character in question as well, is wildly unhygienic, deeply...
Only 2 episodes have been out, right? Like, there's like 10 more episodes to go?
That's crazy. Like, where they're going to take this is just...
Oh my God.
I'm not going to watch it, but I'll probably wait until see what
while the
people
parents
say
of her
about it.
potential love interest are themselves interracial lesbian cops who violate the Constitution routinely, and due process as well, to just mercilessly shoot or attack unarmed cartoon teenagers at school or in their own homes. When we really think about it, none of
That's probably the only part that I think is like, it's like, I feel like it's like Sharknado, for example. You have the horseshoe theory. When something becomes so bad and so awful and so disgusting that it's good. And it's like, yeah, them going around as cops just like randomly shooting people and stuff, that's kind of funny. But all of the rest of this stuff, it's like it's not perverse and disgusting enough for it to even be funny for how perverse and disgusting it is. It's just bad.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be just like absolutely completely fucking like iconoclastic, like you're just gonna break every fucking standard, we're gonna do everything different, this show is gonna subvert all the expectations, then you have to go all the way.
That, or like make it kind of obvious that's what you're doing. Like, in a sense they're doing that here, but at the same time they're not. Like, it was deliberate that they made the white guy and then they poured all the bad stuff on him versus spreading it out. I mean, she, like, eats garbage and is just a terrible person, but she's still hooking up with Daphne. So
none of these characters are even remotely close to the original.
Have Fred cut his dick off.
Unspoken, ambiguous
Why
character
not?
templates, like Shaggy being a part of stoner culture
Episode
in
3.
some way, are being deliberately attacked, undermined, and torn down. I mean, what even is this shot right here? Are we supposed to be
that's
happy
weird.
about
It's a
this?
joke in the show?
Laughing?
Right.
Is this brave? Is this obscene? Is it a hilarious meta commentary on society?
Why does it
or
look
is it
like
just
they're
bad,
crying?
low
Like they were
quality
forced.
production that harnesses the infinite power of hate watching to drive up viewership? Now, some of you might be saying to yourselves, no shit. Obviously, the show antagonizes previous fans and men and white people and stoner culture, etc., because it's supposed to. It's a woke show, and that's just what woke things do.
Oh, I think, in my opinion, if they want to make a woke show, totally fucking fine. You want to do that, you want to have, like, whatever, you want to use your bingo chart and have a full blackout where you check every single box. Sounds great to me. Go for it. It's your show. But just don't expect a lot of people to like it. That's all. Yeah, go woke, go broke.
Exactly. Do what you want to do, but don't, like, think everyone's going to like what, like, you butchered the main...
Some people that like that stuff,
IP.
I'm just not one of them.
Before we go down that route, I want to specify that this bottom-scraping piece of shit also decides to insult the Me Too movement at large, in what feels kinda like unironic commentary.
Let's see it.
One joke is about how the misanthropic, horribly disgusting, garbage-eating main character speaks the truth like comedians did or used to before the Me Too movement, which, when you think about this in context, is not really going to infuriate the same demographic as half the other badly written one-liners, and instead, similar to the law enforcement themes, is more likely to infuriate the overly emotional and hypersensitive woke audience.
Well, I thought the law enforcement was also for the woke people. Just as, like, saying, like, look, like, we're actually showing you what's, like, the truth of what cops do. And all cops do. Maybe the lesbian part, like them being lesbians and bad cops. I'm not sure.
That many people are assuming it's meant to cater to. Seriously, it doesn't get much clearer than this right here. Emblematic words from the original show, Zoinks, Jeepers, Mystery Machine, etc., are names of drugs in the new Velma series that Shaggy hates. But for all of its insults to existing fans, its deliberate destruction of established lore, and its effort to piss off practically every single demographic that views it.
Wait, based on what I'm saying is, like, is Daphne like a druggie?
The show probably isn't going to flop. Think about it. And I myself fall into this category, by the way, so just keep that.
Velma was #1 top trending animated series on HBO Max today. Isn't this the exact same fucking logic that they used to use about how Andrew Tate is really popular, so that means he's right and what he's saying is good? You know what else was top trending? ISIS.
Morbin.
I mean...
Like, I haven't even seen that show, Morbius, I think it's called, where the meme came from. Just because I heard how bad it is.
That's not really a good way to... That's... Like, people are trending whenever they die. Like, this is the worst way to judge
in
things.
A way, yeah.
It's trending. Morbius. Yeah, look at Morbius. There's another one.
Yeah.
That in mind. The number...
Oh, it's just like... Kanye talked about Hitler again. Hitler's trending.
Yeah.
What does that mean, huh? How fucking stupid. There's only one animated series. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. How many other animated series are on HBO Max?
They canceled them
like
all?
5. Okay, yeah, maybe one. Yeah, a lot. What a surprise this one's going to be there. They canceled them all. Well, they should have.
Of creators,
it's more like they missed one.
Outlets and news publications that are covering this dumpster fire is enormous. Tens of millions of views about harmful stereotypes. Hundreds of millions of views on TikTok where offensive jokes are propagated to the very same community that they are designed to anger. Which results in what precisely? That's right, it results in viewership. People are watching Velma.
Do you have numbers? Like, do you have access to those numbers, or are you just assuming?
A lot of them, in fact. Not because they like it, though maybe a very, very small number of people fall into that category, but if they do, they just have objectively awful taste. But because they want to see it firsthand, that's the real reason. How bad is this piece of
it's like
shit?
watching a car
Result,
crash.
higher viewership, positive feedback on all signals that...
How is it positive feedback?
Indicate the speculative...
Other than it being high in viewership.
value of a series, despite the almost universally negative...
I don't know, man. Like, I really am not sure, because we don't have any real numbers.
Yeah.
It's like whenever you're running a one-horse race and there are no other animated shows that are that great, and everybody's talking about how bad a show is, I bet 90% of the people that are talking about how bad this show is have never and will never watch it.
Yep.
They just see things on social media and they never actually watch it.
It's the same like a lot of like the whole bandwagon thing. Like even like video game stuff, like a lot of people don't even play the video game, but they'll hate on it.
Like that's the truth. It's that simple. Let's see the views from the other episodes. Exactly. Yeah, this is such a bad idea. I think that you can use the example of the Ghostbusters 2016 with like all the women. Yeah, everybody was talking about this. And like you would imagine that like, oh, it must have been super popular. They must have made a lot of money. They didn't. It didn't happen. You never saw another one of those ever. It was a bad movie. Yeah, there you go.
Impressions of actual audience members or legitimate viewers, and higher engagement on social media than most other shows in existence, because critics are very, very likely to post about the series, perpetuating a cycle where something terrible
but to be fair, critics, like no one really cares about critics
is being watched because it's terrible. Most television programs
bro, like look at DSP. Look at Wings of Redemption. There are so many videos about how bad these dudes are. Everybody fucking hates him. Everybody is like, man, I hate this guy. He is the worst. And guess what? They don't have any viewers. It doesn't actually work. I don't know why. Like, they're barely making it. Look at Logan Paul. I can guarantee you, Logan Paul in the long run, the crypto zoo thing will hurt him. There will be people that like him less because of it. And the same thing with the Suicide Forest. The same thing with all of this stuff. It's a matter of the amount of things that happen. Same with the Morbius movie. Yes. And the thing is, the Morbius movie is such a great example, because if you remember, the Morbius movie was re-released in theaters because of all the memes about it. And you know what happened? It didn't make any money. You know why?
That's funny.
Because everybody liked memeing It's Morbin Time, but I would say 99% of those people typing It's Morbin Time never watched Morbius, have no intention of watching Morbius, probably couldn't even recognize any of the scenes except for the ones with Jared Leto in them as being Morbius, and they never will. If you gave it to them for free, they wouldn't watch it.
Exactly.
It's just like there's no success case of a TV show or like a movie being universally hated and then they make more of them. It doesn't happen.
Nearly all of them, in fact, appeal to some.
And that's usually the case because the original did not make enough money. Because if it did, they would push out a new one.
And maybe Velma succeeds in that somewhere along the line here with like the most brain-dead audience demographic you can imagine.
Yeah.
But the overwhelming majority of people despise it, as many of them watch it anyway, making this a strong contender for the first ever example of something designed by hate, carefully crafted to alienate everyone, and deliberately structured as a sponge of negative commentary, which will probably accomplish the same ultimate payoff as a traditional cartoon.
I don't think so. Absolutely not. I think this, he's a bit biased in his opinion because he's a content creator. So obviously he would watch it because it's kind of his job. Like he can make content out of it, therefore he's going to watch it. Like I would never, on my own time, ever watch Velma. And even if they allowed you to stream it, I mean, maybe at that point because it's content, but outside of that, just no interest whatsoever.
Love talking shit, and they love to pile on against bad media. Velma?
They do.
Velma is the epitome of bad.
But it's like you can talk shit without having to watch it. People do it all the time.
Media, with what seems like a never-ending torrent of terrible decision-making, writing, and character choices, but when looking at all of it together in context, it almost becomes impossible to believe that this was not done intentionally. As the saying goes...
Well, they could have tried to make it ironic, wokeism and stuff like that, And I think if they went with that angle, it actually would have been a decent angle to go with. I would be like, all right, this is interesting. Let's see where this goes. But that seems like that's not what happened.
Press
Isn't
is
it
good
satire?
press.
Yeah,
and
it's
while
like
that
satire.
may not be strictly true in, let's say, a political race, for example, it very much is true here and now with Velma. The horrible, creatively bankrupt decision-making of Mindy Kaling has produced something that is going viral right now. It actually is, and will...
I think determining on how well the rest of the series goes, like for example, like if it does 12 episodes or however many episodes, if overall they do not make that much money, I don't see anyone else ever offering her that role to be the to make decisions on a TV show.
Will continue to do so as long as it continues to,
because this is so derisive that it could quite literally end her career in movies and TV shows.
To offend viewers. Each new episode will have new jokes that inflame anger in one group or another, and that anger leads to massive earned media, which catapults the show higher in viewership as people watch it just to see how bad it really is with their own eyes. If the show didn't do this, what would actually happen? Well, if we're being honest here, no one would watch it. Scooby-Doo is a franchise.
If it was good, people would watch it. What are you talking about? Like, the fact that you think no one would watch an actual, good cartoon that's based off of Scooby-Doo is kind of crazy to me.
Steeped in nostalgia with a rose-tinted hue. But that lens can be shattered very easily, and the risk of trying to appeal to it when the downside of that effort is complete failure and a wasted budget is too great to be justified. In my opinion, and
it's not like these kind of cartoons have this crazy budget, so not really. I really don't think so. I'd have to disagree with what he's saying here. Then again, I think we're both not informed enough to actually have opinions that are actual truthful or substantiated in any way. He doesn't work in TV media and I don't work in TV media. So to say the budget wouldn't make sense and that nostalgia just wouldn't be enough, no one knew, he doesn't know, I don't know.
And I stand by this very strongly, in fact. The risk of taking a beloved property like Scooby-Doo that is fairly old, if you're talking about the heyday, and just ripping it apart with maximized artistic venom is actually safer than
I would completely disagree. Safer, no.
Trying to make something good. It's much more temporary, perhaps, but for the moment, capitalizing on a virality.
Setting yourself on fire will solve the problem of being cold faster than buying a heater.
Yeah, it's basically what it just setting yourself on fire will guarantee that you will heat up, but it is not the good version. It's not safer. So that's why I disagree on the safer part.
Or starting a fire next to yourself. That will absolutely happen. But it's what happens after you set yourself on fire. Let's say 25 minutes after that, that's really where the problems occur. And it's so weird to me that anybody would, and I'm not saying that he's wrong about this. He could be right, but
I'm not saying he's wrong either, but I think he's wrong because I can't say for sure he's wrong. Just based on previous TV shows, movies that went with a similar approach, maybe not intentionally, but unintentionally went with that approach where it's just universally hated. There's never continuations of them. They don't make that much money. Otherwise, you would see those continuations.
If any
but it doesn't happen.
Fucking executive at whatever company this was made at okayed this under that logic, that dude, they need to sit down and have a conversation with him. They need to talk to him about, listen, you need to watch TV. You need to actually look into this. You need to figure out do you have a television? Have you seen, okay, you know what movies are, right? Okay, so how many have you seen? Have you seen 1, 2, 3, how many? And just,
I mean, they may have been able to trick him. Look how many views this hated show got from these reaction channels and stuff like that. But then they'll not show them whoever this person is, him or her. They won't show them how the show actually did. Oh yeah, Ghostbusters, look how much people were talking about it and stuff like that. And not even show them well, and this is how much Ghostbusters made. But don't look at that.
Figure out what the problem here is. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, fix the glitch. Yeah, there you go.
loop of sorts, where negative feedback is the engine behind it, is an easier thing to predictably accomplish when compared to the uncertainty of actually trying to make something people will love. I hope I'm wrong. I really, really do. But this feels like a pilot program.
I think that, like, you know, future plot devices inside of Velma. You could have somebody get pregnant by Scooby-Doo.
Dude, what the hell?
You could.
That is disgusting. Like, seriously, I mean, maybe he meant Shaggy. I have no idea.
Have Fred talk about his favorite artist, who's Kanye West, and he just recently started getting into his content.
Oh god.
Let's see. What's some other ones?
Maybe he becomes like a white supremacist.
You could have. Oh man, I don't know if I should. You could have Bring Your Gun to School Day. And Daphne could bring one of her parents' guns. Oh man, this could get even better. Like, they should hire me. I can make this show way better than what it is already. Yeah, come on. Yeah, Shaggy becomes a 9/11 denier. I mean, come on. Yes, too. Yeah, bring your AR to school day. Yeah, there you fucking go, man. Yeah, somebody starts an OnlyFans, exactly. It's just...
And they're 15. Jeez.
I think if they want to make it just absolutely offensive to everyone, good. Then do it. Don't hold anything back. Don't take any risks. Don't be like, sorry, don't withhold any risks. Like, if you're going to make a joke that's absolutely fucking horrible, make a joke about the Queen of England dying, do it. Fucking do it. It doesn't matter.
Like, would the government, like, step in if it gets to that point? I mean, not the Queen of England dying, but, like, if you literally had no holds bars.
Go all the way. Yeah, never. Yeah, Daphne falls in love with Andrew Tate. That's so great. Yeah, why not?
Jesus.
That sounds right. And she's writing him letters from jail, and it's just like some weird... Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, if Fred neo-Nazi? Well, that's what I was saying about, like... But, like, you tell that... Like, that's, like, season 1 is, like, he likes Kanye West, and, like, season 3 is he's a neo-Nazi, and, like, season 2, you know, like, maybe something else happens. I don't know. And, yeah, go big. Really try to fucking nail this.
Dude, what the hell?
Fred joins Q. Yeah, think about, like, somebody has to join QAnon. Oh, man. Like, let's see. What are some other good ones? Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot you could do. Like, get crypto into it. Like, why not? Like, just do everything that is hated by everyone.
Go big or go home. Yeah, exactly. January 6th celebrate. Yeah, that's a really good one. And
or have it where, like, someone's about to, like, kill themselves on the show, and, like, Logan Paul shows up with, like, a camera crew.
You have, like, you know, you have, like, all of the Republican, like, white people in the school that have, like, a big celebration on January 6th. And it's, like, for, you know, they're all listening to Kanye West and, you know, doing other types of, like, weird redneck stuff. It just to be as absolutely fucking offensive as possible. Yeah, R. Kelly is involved. Yeah, bring R. Kelly back.
R. Kelly,
why not?
Jesus, dude.
ISIS, let's have ISIS recruitment. Like, maybe Shaggy joins ISIS. Oh, man. This is...
So he starts off as a 9/11 denier and then eventually joins ISIS.
Just, it could be something really beautiful.
That's bad.
Yeah, all in the same episode, exactly. Yeah, it's just, but their goal isn't to be offensive, dude. They're not doing this to trigger people. They're doing this because this is how they want the world to be. I don't know. Maybe you're right. But I'm saying if you want to make it as offensive as possible...
There's a lot more you can do.
Just call me up. I've got a lot of ideas. Please. Epstein's Island. Great fucking idea.
For purely malicious reboots with the only definable intention being maximized anger through the destruction of existing brand goodwill. Today it's Scooby-Doo, tomorrow hopefully nothing, but who knows. Again,
yesterday
I do hope I'm wrong, but that's it. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below. Also, don't watch Velma. Don't hate watch it. If you're going to do it, pirate it, I guess.
Lord of the Rings.
Just don't add to the feedback loop here where everyone is watching a show that is terrible and deserves absolutely no success, but it's going to be successful now because everyone hates it so much. And look at me. I'm perpetuating it. Like, some people will watch this video and then go watch Velma because I talked about it and said it's so bad.
I'm sure, like, a very, very small minority will, but, like, nothing that will actually be what changes successfulness.
Bad. Because it really is that bad. It's actually one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life, but it's successful. Being bad and being successful are not mutually exclusive. Anyway, yeah, that's off on a tangent. That's not scripted. Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I've just been sitting here thinking of like different plot devices that you could make for this show if you wanted it to be as bad as possible, given like what the cast is.
Dude, if Asmon ever came out with a freaking cartoon or any kind of like TV show, that thing would be rated M. Like, no lie, like, or rated what is it? I think M is the highest you can go, right? I don't remember. But like, his stuff would be the kind of things like you couldn't even air on television.
There are so many of these that I'm thinking of that are so bad I can't even say them. Like, this is something, it's just like, it's fucking perverse. Like, the person that would think of this is like, you should, if you make this, you should go to jail. It's like, if you made this, you lived in China, you'd go to a re-education camp.
Locals and Patreon for a monthly subscription to support the channel, social media, the video sponsor, a YouTube alternative called Odyssey, etc., but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.
Oh, good. He got
It's a good video.
Back. That's good.
I just disagree with the overall premise.
Keeping things fresh. Oh, man. It sounds like South Park now? Exactly. Yeah, the gang visits North Korea. Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, like, you know, just like completely like fucking, you know, hone in on racial stereotypes. Just do it with just literally no remorse. Oh, yeah, Velma visits a KKK leader. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's just, imagine they really go out and the show is just a goofy image of Muhammad Boy and Jesus. Yeah. And just make it as absolutely offensive as possible. Because I think that that's the only way that they can redeem the show at this point.
Yeah, that's true. In terms of redemption, like, unless you go full on South Park where it's just like you are doing it on purpose and it's pretty obvious you're doing it on purpose, like, then maybe people are like, okay, well, maybe I'll watch it. But I don't know. I don't see any other...
Like, even if they make the show's writing good, nobody will like it because they're trying to make it good. The only path forward... It's like the one time I told you guys that I had a big bag of gummy worms or gummy bears. I think it was actually...
See if you can, like, get your way through the crust of the earth to the other side and maybe, like, it becomes so bad it becomes good.
Gummy lifesavers. I don't remember. It's pretty much all the same. And I ate half the bag and I was sick. And I told myself I have to eat the rest of these gummy worms. Or that way they'll stop making me sick. You just have to eat your way through it. You got to do the whole thing. Get it out of the way. That way it's not going to be there anymore. Yeah, you go on a ghost hunt. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Absolutely. Why not? And you find the ghost of, let's see, Gandhi. And he's talking about how he was racist. Still on it. And then, like, have the ghost of Martin Luther King talking about how people said he cheated on his wife. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Do every single bad thing. And if you do that, maybe people that hate it it will become so bad they will like it. That's all it is.
I don't think it's going to happen, but...
Yeah, Velma was it January 6th.
Jeez.
Yeah, why not? Logic, yeah, oh my God. The show needs an Uncle Ruckus. Yeah, I mean, you could have that, exactly.
Uncle Ruckus.
And
Uncle Ruckus is like really funny though, to be fair.
Oh my God, yeah, why not? Yeah. It's just...
Well, from what they said, Velma kind of is like Uncle Ruckus, just not as funny.
Oh, wow, this is just... It's just so fucking bad. I'm just thinking about how awful you could make the show, and I think it would become so horrible and just disgusting and despicable that it would I'll read a few of the comments. Actually, I want to read a few of the comments of this before I forget.
I mean, it's also the case, there's only like 2 episodes out. I mean, by the time I'm watching this, there's probably more, but it's like, just off of the 2 episodes, you can already make like full on like a documentary video on it.
And yeah, give me one sec. Where the fuck did it go? Okay, give me we'll watch this. Yeah, just I absolutely love these. This is so good. Fred becomes Velma's pay pig. Yes, of course. And you don't stop a trend by hating it. You stop it by ignoring it. Being irrelevant is the true death of media. I don't hate it. I nothing it. It deserves as much regard as an incomprehensible scribble on a bathroom door. Yeah, the thing is that I can guarantee you guys that us thinking of these terrible plots will probably be more entertaining to do than watching any episode of this show. It's a giant projection of every failed relationship and daddy issue the creator has. Many such cases. Well, the thing is, remember, no hate watching. I don't understand people that hate watch. I really don't. It makes no sense to me. I will never understand it. It's so fucking weird. Anyway,
it really
I think
is
this
weird.
is very interesting. Isn't it crazy how the only explanation people can have for how bad this show is that it was bad on purpose, because nobody can possibly believe that it was just this bad on accident?
Yeah, imagine like you're the writer or that comedian girl, and you're seeing all of this, and people are just like, "You're doing this on purpose, right? Like this is so bad, you had to have done this on purpose." But imagine if it wasn't, like how she would be feeling right now. Like she actually tried her best to make a good show that she thought was good, but the world hates it. Like, Jesus.
It had to have been. This is like some fucking conspiracy shit. It's like there's no way that we could have gone to the moon. Do you know how far away that is? How many things would have had to work at the same time? There's no way, bro. Yeah, exactly. Life is stranger than fiction. Exactly. Yeah, there you go. I still stand believe that I think that House of Cards, the TV show, it didn't die because of Kevin Spacey. It died because of Donald Trump. The fucking show, the real life election was so fucking insane that the show that was supposed to be a more dramatic version of American politics couldn't keep up with it.
Yep.
And the show died. I think that's what happened. I watched it.
House of Cards, I did like that show. A little bit at least. Like, I'm not really into political shows like that, but I thought it was actually well done. So video, you are supposed to hate the show. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's like a good video, like it was presented well, but I just don't agree with the premise. But still an interesting video.